Hello and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast for people who want to watch all this prestige television, but who's got time for it?
You know I don't.
Wibbly wobbly timey-wimey bits.
I'm Xhafer.
Give me the bits.
The bits?
I'm Ben.
I'm Victor.
You are a just the bits guy, Ben.
Give me just the bits.
Give me the bits, Petey. Give me the bits.
Give him the bits. The bits. The bits. The bits. The bits.
We are on our 9th episode of Stargate SG1.
Chevron 9, locked in place.
Season 7, Episode 2, Homecoming. If this is your first time listening, how appropriate that you would join us mid-season.
Welcome.
We are a podcast that picks a show none of us have ever seen, watches the pilot, rolls some dice, skips some episodes, goes on to that next one, and then tries to figure out what the hell happened in between. Welcome. This is the perfect podcast to jump into the middle of season 4.
The less you know, the better. The less we know, the better.
Absolutely, that is the game.
Here. So we've got season 7, episode 2, Homecoming. But before we get to that, we're going to continue our fan recasting. I use the term fan lightly as people who have seen 9 episodes of Stargate with General Hammond.
General Hammond, part of the Stargate project in the mountain. I think Ben does it better, General. Which is ironic because I'm actually from Texas, but
Well, he's not from Texas, so.
he's not. General Hammond's from.
No.
Or you talk about the actor? Oh,
Which I know because I did some research.
Ooh.
I when I get more than 10 minutes of warning, I put too much thought into things. Xhafer knows this.
Can confirm. Well, Ben, you've put so much thought into it. Why don't you go ahead and take us on our journey here?
I will
who's your
take us
fan
off the
recast?
top. Absolutely. So, General Hammond, played by Don S. Davis, is from Missouri.
Oh wow.
And so
birthday
I
state.
decided to go with another one of my favorite actors who's also from Missouri. I'm going to go with Timothy Amundsen.
Once again, I have to look this up.
So
I know
Timothy
this guy.
Amundsen, you may know him from such things as, well, if you're my wife, the Disney kids movie Luck of the Irish, where he plays an evil leprechaun.
I
First
recognize
thing my wife and I watched when we got Disney Plus was Luck of the Irish because she's like, this was my 90s.
Nice.
He was long-runningly Detective Lassiter in Psych, one of my favorite shows. He's also fantastic as the King in Gallivant, a TV show I just made Xhafer for his illicit service.
Hey, beep some of that out. Then delete
no.
all of this.
Yeah.
Delete everything. Yeah.
He's going to be Festus in the new Percy Jackson series, which I've been hearing good things about.
Holy crap, he's been in a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
He-
I just looked him up.
he-
I just looked him up on
he was-
IMDb, and I just immediately recognized him as Kane on Supernatural.
It's
Dude,
one of those weird things
Yeah.
where I get mad at IMDb for what they do they're known as. Because one of the things he's known from is Starship Troopers. He is in 6 seconds of Starship Troopers.
He's in Starship Troopers.
Wow. Like
he
the
is in
original
the
Starship
ad
Troopers?
for Are You Psychic?
Oh yeah, he's the guy with the third eye that pops out of his
Yeah.
forehead. Okay, yeah.
Do you think you're psychic? Come talk to
You might be.
your local Psycor. That's not Psycor. Would you like to know more? Yeah, but Timothy Amundsen, he's at that right age. He's got that distinguished salt and pepper going on. We know he can do the episodic thing. We know he can do, if he needs to do an action scene, he can do it. But if he's just going to be the guy back at base yelling and being like, God damn it, what are they doing? He can absolutely do that.
And he's from Missouri.
He's from Missouri.
Yeah, I am very glad that our current General Hammond, that they decided to make him Texan and they did not give him a Missouri accent. Oh, they're going to go through the Stargate. Oh, get your SG1 teams in there. Oh, glad you didn't do that. Oh, Teal'c, what you doing with that staff there?
I'll be deep in the cold, cold ground before I recognize Missouri.
All right, are you ready, Xhafer, or should I go
Yeah.
next? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm ready.
'cause I'm
Mine's
still
real
thinking.
quick because I'm going to admit I kind of cheated on this one.
Oh,
What?
Well, I did not break any rules of the game, to be clear. When I say I cheated, I mean when I think General Hammond, I think of the other famous fictional Hammond who's an old white dude, which is Hammond from Jurassic Park, our favorite necromancer.
Wait, what? Huh?
Yeah. John Hammond in Jurassic Park.
The original Jurassic Park?
The original
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. The guy who's like, "Welcome to Jurassic Park," and
Oh,
collects
he's got
everyone.
the hat and the huge ring on his finger.
Yeah, he's got the huge rings of power and the
Oh, okay.
necromancer staff with the mosquito and amber. Yeah.
I've never considered him a necromancer, but that totally fits.
Xhafer DM'd a D&D campaign where we had to fight Richard
A
Attenborough.
dinosaur.
He was a dinosaur necromancer.
Yes.
That is smart.
Yeah, that whole campaign was movie bits. I found movies and I made them D&D things. And so it started with like there's like a Thanos bad guy, I remember.
That's
I
the
remember
best.
we had a Gravity episode where the main bad guy had nailed the party to the sky, which is my favorite 3/5 epic level spell, where it's a spell that launches you into geosynchronous orbit.
What?
And they had to scramble together a shelter, create air in it, and then find a way to land it.
It was not good for second level party.
You guys
No,
had
it was-
create and stuff. You made it work. It was a lot of fun.
It was awful. I hated that session.
And we didn't get to do Gnome Die Hard, but that was the next game.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It was Die Hard in a gnome tower.
You know what? Just screw this podcast. Let's play some D&D right now, man.
I'd be here for some D&D.
Yeah.
But theoretically, all the hosts will be at STLV together.
Yep.
So that could be a fun time to maybe do a Star Trek Adventures game on
Something,
theme.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. We'll discuss this more. later.
Yeah. Get back to that. But Richard Attenborough is your pick?
Yes, 100%.
Bro,
Even though he's been dead for a while.
okay, this is a fantasy cast, so yeah.
Yeah.
So,
He's
sure.
a necromancer. I don't care.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking
Being
of
dead doesn't stop him.
Well, Vic is thinking. Speaking of necromancy, while I was looking stuff up, our General Hammond, Don Davis, alas, he died in 2008.
Oh,
So-
damn.
Wow.
He's
Oh,
been
that's a
gone
bummer,
for
man.
a little bit. He died of a heart attack. I mean, he was born in 1942. He was,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
he had
Decent
a
run.
full life of a working actor. But do you want to guess when his last credit on IMDb is for a man who died in 2008?
Oh,
he seems
2016.
he seems like the type of guy who just keeps on until he
It's-
keels over, up until like the day he passes on.
Some archive.
So you think right before-
something?
Right
Yeah.
before he died?
I'm gonna say 2007 at the earliest.
2017.
What was he in? What was he in?
So apparently he was in Twin Peaks, and
Oh, wow.
they kept using his likeness in Twin Peaks as they kept making new Twin Peaks stuff. So even though he died a decade earlier, he plays apparently a Major General Briggs in Twin Peaks.
I hope they
Huh.
use archive footage instead of trying to do the weird CGI thing, because
Yeah.
that still hasn't been perfected.
I don't
Yeah.
see David Lynch, the guy who famously said, "What a fucking travesty to think that you've watched a movie on your cell phone," is going to be really up on using AI actors.
Yeah, didn't work too well with what is his name, Death Star guy in Rogue One.
Tarkin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tarkin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I felt like it
Peter
worked
Cushing.
I felt like they did a really good job with
Sir.
Carrie Fisher, even though it was only like 3 seconds. But I think they did a good job with that one.
Peter Cushing, OBE Ben?
OBE, Xhafer. Order of the British Empire.
Yeah. All right, so I've been thinking about this one for a while, and I'm still torn
Are
because
you burnt?
I am burnt. I'm very badly burned. I'm torn between two actors, both of whomst were in Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is the greatest piece of cinematic history that's ever been produced in the entire history of the Earth. The first one,
That's a roaring endorsement.
I've been a Godzilla fan since, God, before I could walk. But my first pick, he's very famously known among our fan base for The Expanse. David Strathairn. I'm probably saying that wrong. David Strathairn.
Strathairn.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. He played Clace Ashford in The Expanse, and I absolutely loved Clace Ashford. God, I wish we would have gotten more of him. I could have gone for a whole spin-off series, just the greatest space pirate who ever lived. But here's where I'm torn, because I love him as Clash Ashford, and it was weird seeing him not doing the Belter accent, but I still would love to see him. So my other pick, it was also in Godzilla King of the Monsters, is Aisha Hines. She played the commander of the Argo, the big kaiju fighting aircraft in that movie. And I thought she was great. She just like portrayed a perfect military commander, and she's bald. She pulled off the bald look really well. So that worked well for General Hammond. So I don't know, one of those two. I'm gonna flip a coin right now. Got my coin flipping app on my phone. Okay, let's say.
Well,
heads.
no, shoot. I've got the coin, so I'll flip it. You call
Oh, you
heads
got
or
the coin?
tails.
Okay, give me heads, Ashford, tails, Hines.
We've got tails.
Tails. All right, Aisha Hines. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll place this up in the Dominion Media Research Lab later tonight after we record, and leave it up to the fans. Speaking of which, our last recast that we did for Major Carter, very surprisingly, I won again. Not that this is a competition. We're just doing this just for fun, of course.
It
But
just
I won
is.
again.
Oh, man. When I checked, I was winning.
We were tied for a long time. Your pick for Melissa Fumero, yeah, and my pick of Rosamund Pike were tied for the longest time. But checking right now, I got 15 votes. You're at 11. Surprisingly, Melanie Scrofano only got 9 votes.
No
which
accounting for taste.
I was for sure she was gonna win this by a landslide because everyone loves Captain Patel, and everyone loves cocksucking gin and tonic Letterkenny. So I
really like
very surprised.
both of your castings, so I'm not a little upset by this. It just means that I'm gonna have to recast someone else as her later.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to lie. I would love a show with the 3 of them. If it
that
was
would be
just the
good.
3 of them, I'm going to say, okay, the 3 of them and Tig Notaro going on space adventures.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
I'm okay
that
with
would be it. I'm down. We'll call it SG8 or something. Nice. Well, speaking of Stargate, today's episode is.
Yeah, that's a segue. You almost had a segue.
I almost had a segue. Sorry.
You got to commit.
You got to commit to the segue.
I'm
You got it.
still a newbie here. I'm still the
No, that was a good one.
Oh,
You know.
wasn't? That was terrible.
No. It's all about how you sell it. It's segueing is 90% confidence, 10% making sense.
This is very true.
So-
If you can overconfidence anything if it makes it sound like if you believe enough that they're related, you can do it. Because what was your segment? Speaking of the Stargate, so Ben say they can be SG8, and then
They
I'll
could be
do the thing.
Well, I actually have one because, well, Vic did a wonderful job of summarizing and recapping us up as to where our recasting has been. This episode started, unfortunately, with a recap of its own that we had to dive across the room and skip.
Yes.
Because that is part of the rules. We cannot
it?
watch recaps.
Oh, we
No
can't.
episode recaps.
No.
Oh shit. I've been breaking the rules this whole time.
Ah, dang it.
I think this is the first episode with one.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I was totally gonna bring it up because that was an epic recap.
Dang it.
I wouldn't know.
Cool shit. Man, you guys gonna watch this recap? It is off the. I was totally gonna talk about how it's fucking. Dude, it's got a trench run. It has a trench run in the recap.
It was like 40 seconds.
Yeah. Did you at least see the naked Daniel Jackson that it started with?
I
at
saw
the very beginning, yeah.
I saw a naked guy, and I was like, skip.
Still on Showtime?
Yeah, it must have been. Well then.
Yeah, so after we hit that skip recap button, like we should,
Sorry.
we open on SG1. The Major and the Colonel come through. Anubis's super weapon has been stopped. But Jonas and Dr. Jackson, hey, are on his ship still. Anubis and Jonas talk. He is still DJ is still loose on the ship. But
Yeah, he's gone
Anubis,
full Splinter Cell.
Yeah, as learned of Nequandria and straight up chills over the colonic capital like it's Independence Day to theme.
Yeah, so he's hooked Jonas up to one of the
Clip show devices.
clip show devices, and it's just like, I know all of your thoughts now. So now I know 1 about Nequadria and 2 about the cute receptionist at SG1. They will all be mine. I'm evil.
So, if I'm remembering our podcast history correctly, this is the first time we've seen Anubis, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Because for the longest time, I got it mixed up. I thought this was
With
Apophis.
Apophis? Yeah.
Yeah. And about halfway through the episode, I'm writing shit down, I'm making notes, and I realized, oh, fuck, it's a different guy. I thought Apophis went through some kind of
Probably.
thing and came back.
Which is why I'm going to say, last time on, Anubis killed Apophis and was just
Okay.
like, haha, you thought he was the bad guy? I'm the bad guy now.
No, I'm going to say last time on, Anubis is Apophis. That's why we never see under his fucking hood.
I'm going to say,
yeah, so-
last time on, Apophis found some magic Nequadria juice, drank it, it killed him, and he came back, and somehow he returned. And that's why he
And somehow
resurrected.
he returned.
Yeah, he resurrected himself as Apophis. And in this opening scene that we have with Jonas, we learn just in this scene of him on I'm guessing the bridge of his ship, that Apophis has apparently mastered hyperspace travel, shields, but he has yet to figure out light bulbs.
Yeah, they've got open flames.
in a
just like-
spaceship.
You are an enclosed spaceship. There is only so much oxygen. Fire bad.
Yeah, these things are all over his damn ship. Like who
The effort for the effort dedicated to logistics for that aesthetic choice is A+. I will always stand a culture that goes out of their way and makes things so needlessly difficult just for the aesthetic. Love it, here for it, sign me up.
There's got to be one of the goons that has to go around the ship relighting them or putting
Refilling the braziers, yeah.
Oh, they got to be on gas lines. Come on, it's a spaceship.
That's an even worse idea, having gas lines inside a spaceship.
We then get the credits. Did you guys watch the credits?
I did.
No,
Or did you skip?
I skip them.
I watch everything
So-
because I'm terrible.
In the credits, we now have Dan Jax is back in the credits, and
Hey.
Jonas is not.
Yeah,
So
Jonas
if
is
you were
relegated to
wondering-
guest star status.
Yeah, if you were wondering who's going to be sticking around, this had me real nervous for my boy Jonas as the episode was going on, because I'm just like, oh man, somebody's just like getting those couple of paychecks and then we write you out. Oh man, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna shoot our boy? We cut back to the SGC where we get a line that I'm sure excited Xhafer a lot. They're talking to Tok'ra intelligence because we know since the Tok'ra are turtle people.
Go ninja, go ninja, go! Go ninja, go ninja, go! Go ninja, go ninja, go!
Tok'ra intelligence are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's the only thing that makes
Gotta
sense.
be.
Did you notice that he was talking to Tok'ra intelligence on the red phone?
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought the red phone was reserved for the president, but also the turtle people.
Now it's reserved for Raphael.
So they don't know where Anubis is, and Teal'c is out on a mission on Yu's ship. Ben, what happened to her?
What the hell happened?
Can't explain.
But I got the van.
So Teal'c was set on his own mission. Because he is a Xhafer, he got sent to infiltrate a different group of Xhafer. That way he could start sowing some dissent, maybe see who was really, gunning for humans and Earth and everybody, and who maybe could be worked with. So we find out he was on the ship of Lord Yu, and I believe that he ended up on that ship, and he did the entire Abbott and Costello bit, where it's,
You
Looking
sound
for
first.
me.
I'm looking for you. Well, I'm right here. No, not you. We're looking for you. Me? No, you. And
But you forget,
it was,
Ben, that there actually is a Lord Me, and he's a rival of Lord You.
and it so infuriated the other Xhafer that they threw him in prison.
Fantastic.
They do not do vaudeville. Vaudeville is illegal under the system lords.
That is awesome.
Groucho Marx is enemy
Enemy
number
of the-
one.
Yeah, enemy of the state.
That said, I want to say, as part of the team gets captured 20 more times.
Oh, yeah, totally.
In this episode, we've got 2 distinct people in 2 distinct captures.
Oh, there's no debating that. Like, happens every episode we watch.
Yes. I'm just saying, this episode double counts.
Yeah, in 2 different instances, yeah.
Yep.
I feel like they should get a punch card.
They've earned a free slushie.
There actually is a POW ribbon that the Air Force has. That, yeah, but these guys, they bought them in bulk over at SGC Command.
Play the Great Escape theme every time they come back.
The Quodians ask for help with their interplanetary conflict, but with Anubis. And
Yeah, they went from intraplanetary to interplanetary.
Yeah. Over on Yu's ship, we see Teal'c in a jail cell for his vaudeville crimes. Talks to Oshu, who tells Teal'c he can't climb on steel racks in the back room, but Teal'c's like, what the fuck? I don't know you. What's Oshu?
Oh. Fair.
Missing the reference, but
That's a
What's
what's
OSHA?
OSHA joke.
oh, what's OSHA? Yeah,
Oshu thinks Lord Yu is dying of old age and has senior moments on the regular. Use their Tok'ra communicators to talk to DJ over at Stargate Command. Learn that he has Tok'ra isotopes that are hiding him on the ship as well.
that was very strange.
Daniel Jackson seems not fully aware of his past here.
He's got
Yeah,
amnesia.
He's got at least some partial amnesias going on. And Vic, if that was confirmed in the episode recap, don't fucking tell us.
Well, as soap operas have taught us, it is the sexiest of diseases.
well, it does seem kind of that way. Because what did O'Neill ask him?
He's
Oh, yeah,
all like, oh,
O'Neill
we do
told
this
him.
all the time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
What?
he's like,
Like,
well,
do we?
I'm
We do?
trapped on a spaceship. People are hunting me. How do you think it's going? He's like, business as usual for us. He's like, oh God, what did I get myself wrapped into?
Yeah, he's like, this is what we do. Fuck, this sucks.
Teal'c starts gathering allies, starting with Baal. The Collodians have handed over all their Naquandria to Anubis, and Baal agrees to take over Yu's forces. Wait, is Anubis the bad guy in the movie, Vic?
Ra.
No, it was Raw.
That's Ra? Okay.
Yeah, and we, as far as I know, we haven't Raw. never
Anubis
yet
is
returned.
Yeah, he got nuked. I'm just... I
Yeah,
I should go watch the movie at some point.
yeah,
Movie's
yeah.
good.
It's great. It's my favorite.
It seemed antithetical to watch it before we did the show.
Well, with the exception of Daniel Jackson and The Gate, they pretty much wiped their ass with everything that was established in the movie and did their own thing for SG1.
So,
Except for Eric Avari.
Oh, that, yeah, and him too. Him too. Yeah,
But
and
so,
Sheree
Jafar,
and- anyway.
Vic, you can't answer this because you watched the recap.
But,
Jafar,
yes, Ben.
we've got a guy running around a spaceship with amnesia.
Yeah.
Well, hop on her.
So Vic told us that the naked guy was DJ, so I know that.
I've seen many naked guys DJing. That's what it is.
Yeah, sometimes naked guys just DJ. Not gonna Google it.
I
I'm
am.
just going to assume it exists and
I'm
move
looking it
on
up
with
right
my
now.
life.
Oh my God!
He makes mention have been on a very peaceful agrarian society kind of thing was like where he was. So I'm gonna say he got blasted by one of the lasers. It gave him fake schizophrenia, or at the very least started some mental symptoms, and that's what gave him the amnesia in the end, coming through whatever the blast. They thought he was dead. He wakes up like a year later and doesn't remember Stargates or anything, and lives for however long, how much time passed, because I don't know when Jonas took over.
I'm going to guess a season.
Logistically, knowing
Yeah.
television production, I'm sure. But that's less fun than just not knowing.
well, we know he made it at least a season and 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's 24, 25 episodes that
Yeah.
he's in at least.
He'll be back, probably.
By the way, this just in. Quentin Messina, also known as the Naked DJ, seems to be in a roller coaster romance with semi-professional footballer Kaylee Schwartz. Thank you,
Okay.
Google News.
Cool. We learn that Colodia was invaded by their neighbors, but they ceasefired after they dropped the super nuke.
I
Yes.
love the way they asked the Collodians about this. They're all just like, wait a minute. Why'd you
You
have
guys
a
still
ceasefire?
exist.
What are
Yeah.
you doing here? And he's like, he just sheepishly looks down and is like, we dropped the bomb.
Yep.
And they're all just like, no, you did. Bad. Bad Collodians. We told you not to drop the bomb.
But I did like O'Neill's like, oh, so we're here in your guys' base. You told us you'd all be dead. They're like, yeah, we did some war crimes. And he's like, how dare you?
And that one lady was like, we immediately regretted it. We're really sorry.
Yeah.
God damn it. I saw a video on YouTube the other day that was no one told Captain America about Hiroshima. He's
that's a good one.
Have you seen this? He's fighting a supervillain, and he's like, the supervillain's got a nuke, and he's all like, you'd be the first to use a nuke on a civilian population, you monster. Anubis' head scientist is fucking with Nicandria. DJ is trying to break Jonas out of his cell. Jack and Sam, after this, meet up with ambassadors from the world's other governments. And they're like, you don't look like an alien. And then Teal'c shows up. Who also...
Like, oh, he looks like an alien.
He doesn't.
He's just got the funnel cake on his forehead.
He doesn't even have...
They didn't even see the belly pouch.
ears, right? Like, give him some Spock ears or something before we get all up ons. They propose to have Ball show up and fuck Anubis, but Jack wants the buy-in from all of the major governments, since it's going to be their problem if they do this.
I love that line where Teal'c is trying to explain to O'Neill, like, yeah, okay, we're going to bring in this other system lord to fight Anubis for us. And he's all just like, okay, you get to tell them. I'm not telling them your stupid plan.
And I did like that they were just like, okay, learned about aliens 7 hours ago. You said, hey, they're evil and can't be trusted. Why are we trusting this other one will leave us alone once he blows up Anubis? And they're just like, he said he would?
You know what this planet needs is more evil aliens bent on destruction. That'll solve the problem.
I mean, eventually you've got enough evil aliens bent on destruction fighting over each other where they negate themselves. That needs to be a comic series by probably Mark Miller at some point. That's probably already written. There's only supervillains, no superheroes, and it's just supervillain infighting keeps the world at peace.
That's got potential, yeah.
I am sure he did that in his super edgy 90s when he was doing Kick-Ass and all that stuff. I'm sure that exists.
Yeah.
Also, while they are talking to the ambassadors, O'Neill brings up the story of the dog and the dancing monkeys. And clearly this is some sort of an allusion to something, but guys, I'm going to say it's not.
Let's get weird.
I'm going to say this is one of their previous adventures. So let's get weird with it.
What
was the dog and the dancing monkeys?
Let's get weird.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
I'm going to say they found a primitive culture based on Chinese mythology that famously has the Monkey King. Am I getting that right? It's the Monkey King.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. They found the Monkey King, and it's a giant fucking robot. Because, listeners, if you're out there, you can Google this. There actually is, I don't know if it ever completed production, but there actually is a giant fighting robot called the Monkey King. It never took off. It was going to challenge the American robot from Megabots.
Oh, yeah.
Never took off. Yeah. Yeah, it was
major. I got one
huge
giant robot fight in my life.
Yeah, it was so
better than way too many giant robot fights in my life, to be absolutely clear. I've seen how those go. I've watched Gundam.
Oh,
why? Is there other Gundam shows?
Yes, there's Iron-Blooded Orphans, which is just sad. It is so sad.
So anyway, the Monkey King, right. So they found this planet that's being terrorized by this giant metal robot that's the Monkey King. And eventually they were outmatched. So what the SG team had to do was they had to go out into the forest and round up a pack of wild dogs that assaulted the Monkey King, climbed all over it, and they started barking and licking, and it overloaded the Monkey King sensors, and that's how they survived.
See, I'm going to say they ended up on a dog planet, and having their adventure there, they were the dancing monkeys. Because they're like, what are these giant monkeys doing here? Why do they have guns? And they're just like, you're dog people. It's like, yes, that's the only kind of people there are. Like, actually, no. The galaxy is actually just, like, riddled with humans.
So
dancing monkeys everywhere? Absurd.
We don't want to live in a universe with dancing monkeys everywhere.
They think that, but then they think of all the bones, and they're like, maybe we will go to space. You guys seem to die pretty commonly.
Mrs. Chief Science Dude has stabilized the Nicandria, and he's all like...
Or so he thinks.
Try wiping out the city below us, and he's all like, go for it. and it
Well,
overloads
and so
the
here's
generator.
the problem here with that, though, is he's like, I'm using the Nequadria, I fixed the super weapon. If everything goes to plan, it's now even more powerful. It'll just blow up a city. So, Xhafer,
Oh,
I don't think they've got a Death Star.
no. That's the thing, is they don't say it's the super weapon. They say it's one of the ship's normal guns. They actually explicitly call out it's just one of the ship's normal guns that is now supercharged and could destroy a city.
Okay.
Speaking
the
of
super
which, did we
weapons-
get confirmation from the gatekeeper?
We'll get
on
into
one?
that later.
I haven't heard from her in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she's still incommunicado. That's it.
Almost to the point of Googling it.
Well, if
Oh, was it
really
in the
wish you'd
episode
watch the
recap?
recap.
Is it in the
I really
episode
wish you'd
recap?
watch this. It's not explicitly confirmed that it's a planet killer, but if you watch the recap, it looks like a fucking planet killer.
Good enough for me. Good enough for me.
I mean,
I'll take my points happily. All right. Anyways, this supercharged regular laser overloads a generator and explodes, giving a distraction and also allowing Jonas to make it through his now weakened force field. SG1,
is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you skipped over the part where he does the classic villain thing of executing his
Scientist, yeah.
Yeah.
right in front of everyone. And gosh, like this, I understand it's a trope and it's meant to establish that he's the bad guy. He really is a villain. But every time I see this, I'm just like, how many scientists do you have there, dude? Can you really afford to? Because you know the
Your
next
ship
one
is still broken.
yeah, like the next one you bring in isn't going to be as good as your head scientist that you just vaporized. So
Yeah, the opposite of save the cat is shoot the scientist. Back at SGC, O'Neill is like, hey, so they need help. Can we, send in the Marines? And Hammond's like, I can't do that. I need to talk to the Joint Chiefs. And he's like, why haven't you been talking to the Joint Chiefs already? Why are we not planned for this? And he's like, all right, well, let me take SG-15 and SG-11, which makes me wonder, what about the rest of the teams?
yeah, what
We
are
know,
they doing?
based on the numbering, they've got at least 15. Are they all
it could
busy?
it could be a thing where when a team is wiped out, they retire the number and just move on to the next one.
It made me wonder, is there an SG4, but they just really, I'm not taking them.
Well-
No, it'll just make
Oh, you
everything
bring them,
worse.
you just send them in first. You know, it's just
I mean, last we heard SG-11, they were on mail duty. They were
Right.
going and collecting recordings from videos, cameras that had been placed. So that's a promotion,
Yeah, so
maybe?
we did What Happened Her with the dogs and the dancing monkeys, right?
You did a Let's Get Weird with it.
Those
Let's Get Weird?
with it. Yeah.
Okay.
I've done a What Happened Her at the start of the episode.
So I'm going to just say, last time on, there was an adventure where they went out with SG4, and SG4 did such a bad job. They're just like, we're never working with these guys again. They shot Daniel Jackson in the butt, and even Teal'c is like, can we not leave these problematic humans behind?
They dialed the wrong gate code and opened a portal to hell or something.
One thing we
O'Neill-
find out
so
here is that Anubis is looking for a crystal, and they didn't realize was a data storage device. So
Of
it was
course,
in their
it's a data
museum and not
storage
with the rest
device.
of everything
it's a
else.
crystal. What else would you store data on? A USB
The data
stick?
crystal.
Absurd. All
Floppy
data.
disk.
All data in crystals.
You know, when I was a kid, I thought that by the time I become an adult that we'd be watching movies on fucking crystals and shit, but no.
They're looking for this crystal. It's got some data about the OG gold Nequandria experiments. Carter and Teal'c go to retrieve it. We cut over to DJ and Jonas, who talk about their situation and decide to try and find a ring transport to get down to the city. I guess those are one ways as well, which makes me wonder what makes them different than the Stargates.
Yeah, the ring transports, those are the things that they come down from the ceiling, and it's basically
But they need
a
a
Star Trek transporter.
yeah, but they need a pad on both ends.
Yeah.
So why is
you
it different than a Stargate?
I guess
Well,
it's
so-
shorter range, maybe? 'Cause
It is
you-
different in that you need a pad in both locations, or
Yeah.
we have seen examples where they open up a hole in the ship and you can just drop it down like it's a ladder. And in those situations, you do not need a pad at the bottom. You just need line of sight.
Okay.
Speaking of technology, I find it interesting that the last episode that we saw, they were doing the deal with the Nequandria, and it turned out that had been established previously. So, wow, it's like a season and a half, and they still don't know how to use this fucking quandary.
No
Yeah.
idea.
So we get a nice warehouse fight.
Yep.
Teal'c finds the crystal, and then they immediately get captured. But
Again.
yeah, but they happen to also be in the same place where Dan Jackson and Jonas's Ring Fit adventure drops them off here, and they are immediately able to come in and save the day. So they are instantly captured, instantly uncaptured. But
Counts.
I want to know, did this strike you guys as just, when this happened, I'm like, how did the Xhafer get there instantly? Like, how did they know where to be? This raised the hairs on the back of my neck. I'm just like, something's not right here.
Well, they said in dialogue that there was something like 10,000 Xhafer storming the city. So
It's a lot of Xhafer.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just happened to be that they're just sweeping the entire town. That's
Well,
my take.
We learn shortly that that's not the case.
It's
Yeah.
not?
No,
They were betrayed.
because they were betrayed.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The main guy
The commander.
sold them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Commander Hale. But this made me instantly, I'm just like, why are none of our guys just like, hey, how did they know to come in right behind us?
That's right, because he said, "Oh, I'll take that crystal," and he's like, "No, that's not a good idea." And he's like, "No, I will take the crystal." The goons must have been hiding. He worked this out ahead of time. The goons were hiding behind the door, just listening, and he was like, "Okay, after I tell him to give me the crystal, that's when you guys storm in."
Yeah. All this
So
goes
they
down.
come back, and then this
the
is where we...
Stargate,
oh,
the betrayal.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was doing the same recap you were, Ben. After all this goes down, we get the commander and the aforementioned betrayal. Going to turn SGs 1, 11, and 15, along with the ambassadors, over to Anubis. Going to turn over the crystal, and they're going to leave and go fuck up their rivals. And then he gets got immediately.
Yep. The sudden
To be
and
fair,
inevitable betrayal.
To be fair to Commander Hale, I would absolutely make this deal as well. You call like the one people you know for help, they show up with 8 dudes and guns not as good as the 10,000 aliens who are rampaging through your city, and are just like, it's okay, we're gonna fight. Don't worry, we've called more of them. And you're just like, these assholes don't know what the hell they're doing. We're surrendering. We're surrendering as hard as we can.
You brought 8 guys? Well, they're 8 really good guys.
Yeah.
Ball shows up, giving SG teams a chance to fight back. Ball takes Anubis takes his captain's yacht out while letting his big ship get destroyed. Jonas gets shot to stave DJ, and Anubis makes his escape.
I was for sure that Jonas was done for that.
Yeah,
Like, all right.
I did have that fear.
Yeah, it seemed like a too obvious sacrifice, but also the exact thing the show would do. Glad it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier, Jonas and DJ were having that conversation about, like, oh, I only took this job because I felt guilty about your death or something or other. And
Yeah, now that you're back, they obviously don't want me anymore. It's just like, oh man, this is some on the nose writing. Like, hey, now that you're not busy, I know nobody wanted my character on the show.
yeah, the SG team, we can only have 4 people on the SG team. Why? Because it's just 4. Sorry, you're out.
I did appreciate, though, that Jonas is like, hey, will you look after my fish? And he's like, you can take the fish. The fish is fine. It'll fit in your bag.
I'm going to say, last time on, we learned that colonoscopy world has no bodies of water at all. And fish are, like, amazing to these people.
Would be
I'm going to
very
guess that
difficult
the last
humans
time
to
on,
live
the fish... That would be. But I'm going to say last time on, the fish is actually one of their trinkets they've captured from a different planet.
It's an alien fish.
Yeah, it's an alien fish. Jonas says good, talks to everybody on his way out, and we get
He's the new
hey,
president of
you're one of
Colombia."
the good ones from O'Neill. Yep, yeah, he gets to go back and be super famous and important. And I loved this bit here. The thing that like they never bring up when you've got your super secret special forces team that is on nobody's books. Dan Jackson is like, hey, O'Neill, do we get paid?
He left it ambiguous.
Yes.
Yep.
He's like, I do. I'm in the Air Force. You're an independent
do you do?
contractor.
Yeah.
Check your I-9.
And you're technically dead now, so
Yeah.
well,
We
that was me. I'd be
sold all
like,
your shit.
who did his life insurance policy go out to? wonder.
Well, that's the episode. We just end on DJ staring at the Stargate.
But also, similar to our guy O'Neill, Dan Jackson starts getting his memories back. You know what he doesn't ask a single question about?
His wife?
His wife. Which, I don't know if she's still a going concern. I don't think she is. But still,
We haven't heard
I'd be
about
like,
her in a while,
wait,
yeah.
I had a wife and she's gone? Now I'm sad all over again. You see the SGC therapist who's just like taking books back out. It's just like, man, I thought we worked
Here we go
through this."
again.
Right. Well, I'm gonna roll some dice. While I'm doing that, Vic, do you want to pull up the lab results?
Let me head down to the lab and get the results here.
Rolled a 16. So we'll be watching season 7, episode 18.
Wait, hold on. God damn it! You gotta be kidding me!
What?
It's episode 18. Son of a, we can't do that episode.
Why?
Oh, I've had so many conversations with the gatekeeper about it, and it's just so many arguments saying, I tried to explain to her that we can't have context, and we can't, that's the whole part of the show, but she's like, but you need to watch this episode, blah, 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 because it's a two-parter. And apparently, and you just rolled the dice and landed on the second part of the two-parter.
Yes.
And
Fantastic.
And supposedly, just from what I understand, I told her, do not tell me anything about this episode. This is the equivalent of the best of both worlds for Stargate. This is like one of the highest rated episodes in the series.
Skip recap. Saying it now. No episode 1 recaps allowed. We've made our bed and we're gonna sleep in it.
God.
Heroes
damn
Part
it.
2 is what I rolled. It will make for interesting radio next week, but for right now, we have our predictions from last week.
Okay. All right. Okay, so who had SG1 team gets mistaken for a god? That's me. Wait, no. Did we already do that one?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Here
my
it is.
first prediction is there's an episode with zombies.
Right. Okay. So going from top to bottom here, Jonas has an awkward date with 10 votes. That looks like it's confirmed.
Yay.
Okay.
Next one, Jonas gets swallowed by a whale. I put parentheses space whale or other side. Got 3 votes. I'm going to have to.
Aw, man.
I don't know about that.
And then I also had my prediction that Dan Jackson comes back.
Yeah, I didn't even bother sending that one down.
We figured that out.
Moving on to Xhafer's. Says there's a zombie episode.
Yeah.
So someone in the comments asked, how broadly are we defining zombie? Is it actual zombies or stuff that is intended to feel like zombies? And I am going to say just the fact that someone had to ask that question means that that's all the confirmation I need for that.
No, we need actual zombies. Dead, reanimated.
Stay
I don't
dead,
know.
Ben.
Star Trek Enterprise had a zombie episode, but they weren't actual zombies. No, it was a ship full of Vulcans that contracted some kind of weird space virus that made them all act like zombies. But they're clearly freaking zombies.
All right. Clearly zombies are zombies. How about vampires? What's the lab say?
There are no vampires.
How about a reference to the Loch Ness Monster?
So here is an interesting thing. Now, I figured something out here because I'm smart, right? I figured out a way to look this up and confirm this without spoiling anything. I did not break the rules here. I went to the TV Tropes database, and they have a page called the Stock Ness Monster. And it has a listing of Loch Ness Monster references throughout movies and television. And there is, in fact, a Loch Ness Monster episode in Stargate Atlantis, but not SG1.
Oh no! That does not count. Damn.
Nope.
So close yet so far. If we do Atlantis at some point, though, I know what my
that
first
reminds me.
prediction.
That
puts
me.
28 points.
Oh, nice.
I did something. I looked something up. You guys told me, hey, no Babylon, so we were originally saying no Babylon 5 actors.
Right.
But I went and I did some cross-referencing without looking at, like, how many episodes or what have you. And I did find out that, so, Vic, you pointed out Talon is in it.
Yes.
And another person who totally is above the credits, Commander Takashima.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I mean, she's in,
No way.
well, If we want to be technical, Ben,
I don't.
The Gathering is not part of the television series Babylon 5. It was a made-for-TV movie.
I just said Babylon 5.
Fine, it counts.
Yeah, I was
Just
going to say
getting
I
all
love-
those
I love
points you
Fanatic
can.
Cartoon. love
I
that actress.
just disqualified myself for 3 points, and for to have you come at this game like this right now.
Well, yeah, I was going to give you those points anyway because I felt like the Inquisitor from Babylon 5 was a legit pick. So even though he had a total of like 45 seconds of screen time,
Well, Ben
he was
already
still
gave
across 2
himself the
episodes.
Babylon 5 points anyway, so don't re-add those back.
Yeah.
You already factored them into your running total.
Moving on to my predictions, an SG1 member gets mistaken for a god. That got 13 votes, so that's 1 point.
That
for me.
happens.
Someone in the SGC defects to the Goa'uld. Only got 1.
Does not look like it
I'm
happens.
for sure that was going to happen, yeah. That doesn't look too good. And finally, Cheyenne Mountain gets blown up and magically restored by the next episode. That only got 3, so I'm going to say, nah, that's not enough. So there we are. So I only got 1 point this week.
All right, so Heroes Part 2. Stargate Command.
We got to do. God damn it!
No, we're doing it. In fact, the more you fight, the more I'm in.
I know. That's what
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
So, Heroes Part 2. Stargate Command encounters a unforeseen predicament with half of SG-13 off-world fighting enemy Xhafer. SG teams 1, 5, and 7 go in as backup. All we got. That
this
it's
is gonna
time
suck.
to make
is
some
gonna be great.
predictions.
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing? I guess no one's coming.
I have seen into the future.
You ruined the prophecy.
I am so excited here. I got 3 predictions. I feel really good about all of them. My daytime prediction, Jonas comes back for a guest spot at least at some point in the series. And bonus
That was my
point.
daytime prediction as well.
I got a bonus point attached to mine. He comes back in a JRPG power of friendship moment. So to be clear, what I'm talking about, have you listened to Adventure Time? You know, at the
Listen
end,
to it?
yeah, Adventure Time is a Let's Play podcast of a D&D campaign with the McElroy brothers.
No, you're talking about the Adventure Zone.
Adventure Zone.
Time is the cartoon.
Oh yeah, sorry, Adventure Zone. At the end of the first campaign where all of their friends come back to help them defeat a big boss, that is exactly this thing. It is a trope in JRPGs where the friends that you make along the way show up at the final battle to help you. So I'm not going to say it has to be the series finale, but there is a fight with a big Goa'uld season finale kind of thing. Jonas leads a group of Collodians to help them at the last moment, kind of a thing. Like
That was oddly specific.
well, that's why it's a bonus point. I get a point if he shows up at any point. The bonus point is very specific. My evening prediction, we've seen some advances in technology being used. We are talking about it this episode. I had already written down Gundams, y'all. I want to see some mecha. Don't have to be like 20 stories tall. They can be Ripley sized. Want to see some mecha battle suits in this show.
You're not getting that on sci-fi budget, man.
Oh, I think we're getting
Yeah, I
it
don't think
in
that's gonna
shitty CGI sci-fi budget, which exactly ties into my next prediction. I believe this show, without researching, has made the jump to sci-fi at this point. I'm going to predict we get 4 sci-fi SYFY actors on this show. Someone who was a main title card character on a sci-fi original series that ran for at least a season.
Or major sci-fi
Yeah, so like
SYFY
someone from
actors
Yeah, so like
from
you think-
Sharknado or
Sharknado was a movie, but there was a ton of sci-fi original series. Battlestar Galactica is probably the most famous of them. There's all kinds of stuff.
Well, yeah, we already know that a whole bunch of Battlestar Galactica
Yeah.
people were on this show.
yeah, we already had a bunch of Cylons.
But like Farscape actors, Battlestar Galactica actors, Eureka actors. What else was on there? Warehouse 13. That set of shows.
I'm
from
gonna
that
say you
time
have to
period.
take away Battlestar Galactica because we've already seen 4 of them.
Yeah,
Seen 4 from Battlestar Galactica? We've seen a couple.
3 at least.
Okay, I will omit Battlestar Galactica from the running.
Currently running, like
Well,
it is
is Sci-Fi even
synergy
still a channel?
that they are in this show.
Yeah. No, I expect it to be shows that were
No,
on
like-
Sci-Fi in this time period. Maybe a little bit before, maybe a little bit after, but within a year of it running on Sci-Fi. Have I made this impossible to track? Is this
All right.
too absurd?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you know what?
Well, whatever, let's go for
I know
it.
how to check
Let's
this.
just dive in.
I know how to check this. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I can narrow it down
All right,
and
well,
reduce
I'll go with
the
my
number of
predictions
actors,
next.
if that helps, Ben. I'll say we get 2 people from Eureka and
we can-
Warehouse 13.
Eureka
Those
and
were the
Warehouse
shows that
13,
were running
okay.
at the same time, I think. That sounds right to me.
So my daytime prediction, just as Xhafer's, we see Jonas again. He comes back. I'm going to say for a bonus, he comes back at the helm of a ship, because we know he was a test pilot before all this started happening. They figured out how to use the Quadria, and he shows up to save the day in a super cool ship.
That's almost exactly what I said. Ben.
What?
Almost exactly what I said. I said he shows up with a fleet of Kelodians.
Well, you said he shows up with Clodians. I was saying he shows up in a cool advanced spaceship.
Okay.
For my evening prediction, so we know Dan Jax has amnesia, but my prediction is he gets his memories back and more.
And
there
more?
are new memories, new things that he now knows that were not there before.
How
And
do I
my
word
final
that?
prediction, we do not see Anubis's face in this episode. So my prediction is when we finally do get Anubis's reveal, it is a character we have already met.
Oh,
Dun, dun,
Anubis's
dun.
identity is revealed.
And Anubis is somebody we know.
Like a character who's previously been on SG1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Not just like, oh, hey, it's Edward James Olmos. We know him. I recognize that actor. No, it's somebody who has previously been a character, like, established on the show.
Moving on to my predictions. Continuing with my tradition of going with theme episodes, I'm going to start off with one I absolutely hate. Seen this so many times in so many different mediums of television, that there's a Lost in the Desert episode. This always happens. I absolutely hate it. It's so fucking boring. But they did it on Star Trek. They did it on Star Trek again. They did it in TNG. They did it in Enterprise. It was even in one of the John Wick movies. He gets lost in the desert. And it's just so boring. But I don't know why they keep doing it. But yeah, definitely there's going to be a Lost in the Desert episode. My next prediction is we're going to get a wedding episode. And double bonus points if it's Carter and O'Neill.
All right.
And finally,
Have they even been
And-
romantic at all?
No.
Dude, I just
We're in
know there's
season
fanfic
7.
He's
out
already
there,
married.
So, but he's not. He forgot that he's married. And for my final prediction, the team rides horses.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on a planet. The mount breaks down or something. They need to get somewhere. There's
I
just
feel
a
like we
shot
saw
of
this on
SG1.
the Thor world.
They didn't actually
No.
ride horses. in the
Somebody
film,
else
did they?
rode a horse, and they had one horse, and
Oh,
they
that's
sent
right.
it away.
That's right.
Because
that's
we
right,
only had
'cause
the horse.
They only rented it for like 8 hours that day. They had to return the horse. Yeah, the team is either going to escape via horseback, or they're going to ride in to show up at the last minute via rescue on horseback. So yeah. So there's my predictions.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with Season 7, Episode 18, Heroes Part 2, where we will be hitting
And
the
I'm gonna
skip
be-
recap at the start of the episode.
I'm
Going
gonna go
in
brace myself
blind.
for verbal abuse from the biggest Stargate out of all the episodes you could have rolled the dice for. Ah.
I'm
I-
happy about it.
I have
know you
a
are, you
knack
sick
for
fuck.
hitting critically acclaimed episodes on these rolls. It happened on Breaking Bad. It happened on Into the Badlands, and it's happening here too. So I guess my dice are just lucky. Legit. I mean,
Lucky
you
is not the word I would use.
You guys watch me roll every time. Like, this is actually randomized. I promise, listener.
All right. Well, this will be fun.
Just like I promised to say thank you to Goon Squad for letting us use. Fuck. That was all confidence. Bad segue. What'd I say? I had it.
Thank the Goon Squad.
Ripe. We
I
thank
know
Ripe.
that. I know we thank Ripe for Goon Squad, but I said a thing before that. Randomized. It doesn't matter. We just got to say thank you to Ripe for letting us use Goon Squad as our theme music. Appreciate it. Love the song. Thank you so much. Check them out on Spotify, Tidal, wherever you stream music.
And a big thank you to everyone in the Dominion Media Research Lab for helping us out with this episode. If you'd like to be a part of it and help us out with our scoring, look up the Dominion Media TV Research Lab on Facebook and go ahead and join. And if you like our podcast, feel free to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Facebook, and we'll give you a shout out on the show.
And thank you to Annette Lucina for your photograph of a television that you have placed under Creative Commons. Thank you for making free art so we can make free art.
Send us a comment lasttimeonpod@gmail.com or join our Discord.
And we will see you next time on Last Time On.
I'm gonna show you.